Let's play a game, all right? On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
This is the Karate in the Garage podcast with Mason Merrill and Weston Toth. Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I am your host, Mason Merrill, and apparently I can't speak today. But with me again today, live in studio, is my co-host, Weston Toth. How are you, sir?
Dude, I'm doing great. And what a beautiful day it's been. Good studio, good vibes. Hey, we made it. We did it
dude.
after all this time.
I know. Like we it's funny because we came up with this idea to start the podcast like a couple years ago, but at the same time we decided we were going to have another friend do it with us, and we did a couple trial run episodes, which actually ties into this episode today. We did a couple episodes, and we just never really got it together to do it while we were sort of around each other. And then like last year after I came to visit you, we're like, okay, we're going to do this thing. And that's when we hunkered down, and then we hadn't seen each other in person since. So
Yeah, true. I know. I wish we could get our third co-host back on here, at least for, or for the potential when we kind of had this idea to start this thing off in general. But I mean, after we saw each other, it spawned it again. It's been 9 months?
Yeah.
For sure, off and on, because there's been some breaks where you had your kid, or we just had to, hit or miss, whatever. Obviously, we don't do this for a full-time job. It's just a fun thing that we like to get together and do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we needed to do this.
Yeah,
it's
for
been
sure.
way too long.
Yeah.
And finally, no one's sick. I mean, my wife's always sick, but besides that, we'll be good.
Yeah, and we talked about last week doing Marvel War of the Gems, Marvel superheroes for Super Nintendo, and we decided to call an audible on that one because we were actually together, and we're like, we should play something that we are together, and that we had done this game before, actually, in one of our pre-run episodes, that when we were first getting it together. But today we were doing Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and let's be honest, the listener. We did play War of Gems, or War of Gems. And it starts out really cool. It's like, oh, wow, this is going to be in the Infinity War of the NES.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're kind of ready to play this. And we played one level, and it's a one-player game, which is not as fun because you're not playing together. And it wasn't our cup of tea. So we wanted to play together. We want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to play that game.
No. I think we definitely had a much better time with this game. This is a game we've both played throughout the years.
For sure.
By ourselves and together, or with other people and together.
Yeah.
And it's just a goodie. So we wanted to talk about that today.
So do you remember playing this game on a computer with not a controller but a keyboard?
Yeah.
And I was like the directional keys and like the enter
right.
for like attack, and you were like ASWD for like you're moving around, and you were like shift.
Yep.
We were.
This was like
on
old
the same
school,
keyboard,
straight up playing on the same keyboard. Yeah, and at the time, like those keyboards were a lot bigger too, so there was a little more space. It was kind of like being in front of an arcade or something. But it was still really cool.
I mean, was it that much bigger though?
Not really.
No.
And so,
well, we made it
but
work.
yeah, and we would like
times.
Assign all the keys and have to remember, and half the time we just died. But we did get through it. So.
It was fun. We actually got through a lot of those games. I think that's what kind of spawned up both of our loves of these retro games and these older style video games. Because we even, we played them 10 years ago, and they were only 15 years old or whatever, and then now they're this much old, and revisiting them and kind of judging them or giving our review, not judging them, and then also just seeing how games have taken the good things from the even these old games and then applied them to new video games and just what we like, and it kind of shaped who we are as gamers today.
Yeah, and we would have had this game, it was just like really cool to just sit down again and play it in person. And This game came out in November 19th of 90 or August 15th of 92 in the United States. So this was an early run Super Nintendo game.
Oh yeah, super early, and it was a sequel to the original arcade game, where it's more like a port, I guess, that they kind of like dressed up and made better. And that arcade game was 1987.
Yeah.
So no. 1987 was the animated series, but the arcade game was basically around that time. So it arcade was 1991. I'm sorry. So and then arcade was 91, and then Super NES was 92, and this is the one we played. So it was a year later. It's I think pretty much the same game, but ported, and that works. There's a couple things that just work better for console.
Yeah, I think there was versions of this game on the arcade that was 4-player. And so you could play 4-player on arcade, but the Super NES version was only 2-player. So
yeah, if you look at the specs too of just like the Super Nintendo of what this cartridge was, it was a CPU that was running at 8 megahertz, like 8 megahertz total, and then the chip was at 3.58 megahertz. So
so low.
You know, back in the day, especially having an arcade, it did have more power than what most computers had, and that's why they were so ridiculously expensive. And you could play 4-player, you could have, you know, better sound or whatever. But when they ported it over, like you just don't have as much power. I mean, 8 megahertz.
I know it's just crazy. But overall, with all of that said, this game was a really smooth game for.
It was
for that, like even playing. What are we over 20 years later with this game almost? And it was just such a smooth game. The game, you know, obviously we played it through the years, so it's pretty fresh with what we've been doing, since we played it before. But like the audio and everything, quality, it didn't let me down. It felt like I played it for the first time, you know.
Yeah, and this is, I guess this is a good question to ask you, and I feel the same way. Let me state a thing, and I'll ask you your opinion, is the graphics, I mean, this was 92, but the graphics weren't the best in the world. Like, they definitely were old school, but it was so fluid, and it ran without, like, bugs, and the controller was, like, very, like, interactive. It was a nice playing game that I would, like, other games that we've played, they tried to do fancy graphic works, but it lacked on input and feel of the game. And I'd much rather have something that just was fun and like the character did what you wanted it to.
Yeah.
And like the animations were good. It just maybe they weren't like the best graphics even at the time.
Yeah.
But it was a much funner game. I'd rather sacrifice graphics for playability.
Yeah, and there was a good flowing moveset to the game as well, and you could really do your moves, and like there's different things like you throw the guy at the screen, or like you throw him over you, or you hit him and sling him around and bash him into the ground and things like that. So it was cool, and the animations were good.
Yeah, they were.
The sprites were nice, and there was like 2 modes you could do. You could do like the animated mode. Show mode, or like the comics at the time mode, which would change the colors to like different hues, and their eyes would be kind of whited out and things like that, which is pretty like a pretty cool effect to the game.
We played through quite a number of the levels.
Yeah,
we didn't beat it because it actually was kind of difficult because you only get so many continues with this game, or else you have to completely restart.
Yeah, and that being said, though, this is a game. Yeah, I died a lot. Yeah, but that being said, this is a game we played a lot over the years, and we've beat a lot.
I have beat it multiple times.
Yeah,
but it was hard. Like when I beat it, it was challenging. It was not easy.
Yeah.
So it was, but I think the thing about like this game for me is it had diversity in levels. Because for instance, like 3 levels in, you're in this, or like 2 levels in, you're in the sewer. Which is like, oh, this is like the idea of it. You're on a board. It changed even that. And again, the graphics weren't the best, but the animation was really nice and it's fluid.
Yep, exactly. And
it was fun.
Yeah, and it wasn't like really, as far as like the visuals and things like that, it wasn't super repetitive. The levels were really unique themselves. The bosses were unique and different. They did different things a lot, and which was really, I thought that was really cool and really. They put a lot of effort in this game, and in a time where a lot of effort wasn't really needed for some games, you know, just to be fun.
Sure.
You know, but they put a lot of effort, and I think that's why this game has really had legs through the year.
It has, and man, I wonder, because how much money did they have? That's what I want to know. Like, how much money was poured into this game? Because
it was probably a lot back in the day, you know.
It had to been to I mean,
inflation.
Developing games in general. I mean, it's every game is like AAA platforms are multi-million-dollar games these days, but even back in the day, like developing, they had to have been pouring money into it, especially maybe like something was very iconic, like Ninja Turtles, and everyone was into at the time. So maybe that's why it was really good, or it could have been just like the group of designers that did it just completely did it justice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was really good overall. So let's kind of just go through as far as like how we usually take these games, which is first off the gameplay. How did you feel about the gameplay itself? I think we've talked about a little bit about it, but
so for personally, I really enjoyed it. But the craziest thing is it didn't do necessarily more than a lot of the other side scrollers. You basically had a regular attack. You could do certain moves, like if you jumped, you could do like a spinning kick, just a kick over a fast one, or like a spinning over. You had a certain set of movesets, but it's basically just one button and your control pad. So it was very simple. And then you had each character had a special attack that did more damage, but it took a little of your health, so you kind of had to balance when you were going to use that. But it was so, again, it was just like the playability was so nice, and the enemies were diverse, and how you were going through it felt changed up, like not just the same thing, even though it kind of was. It had enough diversity where I was not bored ever.
Yeah, no, and it was cool how it wasn't just your platform side scroller. It had like some depth to the platform itself. You could move up and down and things like that and all around, which made it a little more difficult, especially because you're not just hitting the guys head on like that other game we were playing in War of the Gems. It was just a platform side scroller. Yeah. But this one had some diversity, and you really need that in a game like this. I know, because you're playing 2 players and things like that, and especially if you're playing 4 players, you need that depth of field in working with the game. But I thought it translated really well, and it made it a little more difficult because you would have to be on the foot soldier's level to really like hit him and stuff, but not like it wasn't like too complicated. You could get down there and hit him without a lot of like calculating to like I got to be in the perfect place at the perfect time. So.
Yeah. You know a game that did this, that must have taken a note, that did this a little bit later, I think it was like 95 or 96, was X-Men arcade game.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to this game with X-Men, and they had cooler special attacks and maybe like some kicks in there instead of just a one button. But it was a very similar game, very similar feel. Really like that game as well. But it must have taken, now that I'm just thinking about it, they must have taken a note from this one because it's such a similar feel, and it was really fluid as well. So, but what did you think about the level design? That's another thing. It's like, what do you think? Playability for me was like 5 out of 5.
Yeah, for
10
sure.
out of 10. Like, I really liked it.
It was good. It also kind of reminded me of Spider-Man Separation Anxiety when we played that.
Yeah, that's true.
Back at this time last year.
The level design that's what I'm saying. Level design here is better than Separation Anxiety.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, so like you're saying that, though, the fields and the backgrounds were really unique. Like you're walking through the city, you feel like you're walking through the city. It's not just buildings, there's like dumpster and fire escapes and things like that. You can't jump on them necessarily, but there's a lot of good animation to the backgrounds.
They did have the fire hydrant. Like you could throw people into. We didn't really kind of use it, but you could use it as a prop. And then the sewers, like that was the next one, and then you're in space?
Yeah, and I thought, just as a note, the sewer level was pretty cool because you're surfing in the sewers. You're on your surfboards and you're moving around. You're trying to avoid things, so it's just going really fast. And
it was fast.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the hardest levels we had, or at least I did. I lost a lot of life in that level.
I was getting my toe stubbed on that one.
Yeah,
like Turtles got soft feet. They got hard shells, but get spikes in their feet.
Yeah. But yeah, so things like that, it was very diverse. Like you said, it went from like, 3 a.m. New York City, the Big Apple, and you're up in the scaffolding and all that in the first level. And then you go to like the streets and you fight the robot, the Mecha Turtle. And then you go into basically Shredder's base, and that's where you get thrown into the time warp. And then you go through all the time warp levels,
right,
where it ends at Shredder. And the time warp levels were like, you go back to the dinosaur times, and then you go back to the times of like ships and boats and pirates and things like that, and then you go to like the train times, which is cool. Yeah, and you just keep progressing through the levels until finally you make your way back and you're at Shredder's base and you fight Shredder.
That's the whole thing. I like also I like the diversity in enemies.
Yeah,
because they were like there was kind of the same like cyclement. Yeah. But also there was a lot not. Like when you're in the dinosaur one, you got dinos and ninjas on the back of them,
and the rock people,
and like they changed it up a lot.
Yeah,
it was not. They weren't recycling old content. They put some work into it.
Yeah, and then obviously they had all the different types of foot soldiers, but the different types of foot soldiers had different weapons and things like that, and it made them really unique. As far as how they attacked and all that, it was like we said, there's just a lot of effort put into this game, and it's really refreshing to play something like that. As far as the sound goes, I thought it was great. I mean,
solid 8-bit.
Yeah, it hyped me up for the game, and the different like little voiceovers like that you start 3 a.m. Big Apple. I kept saying those things, like it's just like the nostalgia of it, and then it's good. So cool. Yeah.
I think you're missing the most important one.
What is that?
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga. Yeah, they said that a lot. And the life was pizza, of course, like the extra little life bits you'd pick up, and then there was like the bombs where you did like a crazy spinning attack and things like that. So that was pretty cool.
I have a question. So why in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original series in the 80s, did they ever surf or would they just skateboard?
They surfed in the sewers. That was the whole episode.
They surfed in the sewers.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, Cowabunga, like that's a surfing thing. That's not because I know they were all into skateboarding too, and I was down with that because I was a skater. But I was like, Cowabunga, that's a...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's something... Like, surfing wasn't their main thing. Like, they were ninjas fighting on the streets.
But they were like surfers.
But they were dudes, They were like the dude.
They were they're bros.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, but anyway, the sound overall was great. I mean, I liked it. It was good. Kept it going, kept the game going. It was diverse, in the different levels and things like that, and that was cool. As far as... the next thing we usually do is like presentation as far as how the game was kind of laid out and how you start and get into the game. Like I said, there was those little options to change between comic and animation, and then there was like some sound settings you could set up in the options, and it was really cool, real easy to get into. There's some different modes, like the story mode, 1 player, 2 player, and then there's like a time trial mode you could do. Run through the game as fast as you could, and then a versus mode, which was cool because we got to play that in person, and the versus mode was fun. We would beat each other up. So
yeah, for sure. I liked because you're basically training in a dojo with Rat Boy,
Splinter. Yeah, that's awesome. They have the best names.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and what's the next one? Replayability.
I think I've replayed this game a lot.
I know. I've played this game so much.
Yeah, over the past because it came out in '92. I first played it in probably '95.
Yeah, me too.
And I've played it consistently, maybe every 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
and beaten it this, and enjoyed it every time.
Yeah, and especially just to note that they did remake this game on PlayStation 3. Ubisoft remade it, and that was when we played. Back in 2009, they remade it. And that was the 3D graphics and things like that. And
I forgot about that.
And that was 4 players. That was cool. So me and our other friend and your brother would get together and we play that one. And we beat that one a few times too.
Yeah, that was cool. It's good times right there. So I think replayability very high.
Yeah, and for a game like that to be remade, like years later like that, it's definitely pretty good. So okay, so what's our next one? It's like overall graphics. Yeah, graphics is usually what we do.
Yeah, I think the graphics weren't great, but also
for 92.
For 92,
it was pretty decent.
When I say not great, I mean like we've definitely, like I talked about, we've had other games that were probably better graphically, but weren't fun.
Yeah, like the War of the Gems. It was probably better graphically, the sprites and things like that. Spider-Man was really smooth. Probably. All the different characters that were in it. But yeah.
I think it was completely adequate. If not. But you know what? The cool thing is, like I say, graphics. It was a little, obviously 8-bit-ish.
Yeah.
But the levels were good.
The bosses looked good.
The bosses were really good.
Yeah, I think that was like because the turtles were all kind of the same sprite, just different weapons,
for sure,
kind of thing, in different colors.
Yeah.
And the bosses were really unique in their move sets and things like that. Like I remember the fly. Guy, he was like Baxter. He would throw his like hand thing out the fly trap.
So maybe, and that's what I'm saying is maybe like I'm not being clear. Is the art style wasn't the best? Meaning like this was not a wow. This is super super cool to look at.
Yeah,
but graphically it was good.
Yeah, and as far as the cutscenes drawn, like the first cutscene where they're looking at the TV with Shredder.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It looked good. It looked like it reminded me a lot of the old series, which is exactly what it was based off. So. and I saw that series into the 90s, obviously, because I was born in 89 and the series debuted in 87.
Yeah.
So I saw that series into the 90s as they did replay, reruns of it. So, but, and that's a series I would watch again if I could get a hold of it somewhere. That'd be something I'd be interested in watching.
Yeah.
Today. So,
that and like Marsupilamo.
Yeah. Biker Mice from Mars.
Oh, well, that's
Street Sharks.
See, dude, that's the thing about the Biker Mice from Mars and Street Sharks is that was actually legit, like, crazy. Those 90s shows were like hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were all in that same vein and era. And then preceding that was like Batman the Animated Series and Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Just the 90s
but
were
those
just
were those were shows, even though they were cartoon kid shows, they were really they weren't necessarily made for little kids.
Yeah, I could watch the Spider-Man and Batman series today, and I
X-Men.
do. And X-Men, X-Men was like a different level. That was like aimed at adults and things.
For
like
sure,
that,
X-Men, but even Batman the Animated Series, those are dark.
Yeah,
and
I watched that today. I'm like, dang, I watched this as a kid.
It scared me as a kid.
Yeah,
but I had to continue watching it.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so that was all that just the glory years of cartoons. Now I watch some things with my son. I'm like, what is this? Like,
it's
but he loves it.
There's
so
good cartoons that are out, but they're also like 100% that 90% of these people are on like psychedelics because they're just much weirder. They're not, but they're definitely not as dark.
Yeah,
because do you remember even like Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yeah. That was pretty dark.
What the heck? And then now your son's watching like Paw Patrol.
Yeah, I know. It's all pretty clean stuff.
Baby Shark.
Yeah. Oh, God. Your wife. No.
When she did that, I was just like, you hate them. I've decided that you actually don't like these people because she's like, hey, let's teach you a dance and a song that you're never going to forget. And he did.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what I did wrong to your wife, but I got on her bad side somehow. Nah,
I think she just was not thinking.
She was just excited.
She was just excited to see a little boy do the shark dance.
Yeah. So anyway, good times. So let's just rate this game, and I think it's only appropriate to rate with pizza.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to give this a straight 10 out of 10 pizzas for me.
I 100% agree. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like,
cool.
I think across the board. Wonderful.
Yeah, and this game just has gotten great reviews over the years. Just, like as far as replayability, it's one of those that's always in the top 10s of Super Nintendo and things like that. So
I think it's interesting because especially when we've reviewed games, they got like really high scores when they came out, and we're like, oh man, that really didn't hold up. Like now scoring it, but this one did. It like got good scores, and it's consistently just held up to be able to be played again. Yeah,
and I'll play this with my kids, as they're growing up and stuff.
Another side scroller we need to play that's I really enjoyed and I want to know if it holds up is the Simpsons side scroller.
Oh yeah, and that's a one player. I think. Oh, it's two?
No, you can play as Marge and Bart, and Bart's got a skateboard, or Homer, and
we might have to hit that up before you head out.
Yeah, but that's another one that we're gonna have to hit up eventually.
Yeah,
because I really would like to know if it holds up.
Yep. So cool. Anyway, I think we're just gonna close the book on that one and move on. I'm glad
10 out of 10.
It was one of those like we were talking about the podcast and we're like, we can't start out with a 10 out of 10. We're just gonna love this game. We got to do some random stuff before we get to like some of these juicy ones, and we've earned it over the year. We played some really
crap games,
but some games that have been really good too that we have never heard of. So.
For sure, like there's been ones that have been I've been pleasantly surprised about, but some of them were just like yikes.
Like, oh snap. So I'm thinking maybe next week we'll do that Simpsons game. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'm down with that. We'll try to play that together before you leave out of here.
Yeah, man. Any sort of multiplayer game, we'll try to do that. If it pull an audible, there's always a chance for it, but definitely want to do something that it's going to be good, interactive, rather than like something that we could just play
solo.
Yep.
Okay, so in other types of things, you've been playing anything recently? I know we've been playing a little VR today.
Oh yeah, we did. So
No Man's Sky was not good to you.
The craziest thing about that is I put the headset on and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And then I was even walking around and I was like, oh, I'm totally enjoying this. Like I'm not like, it's not wigging me out at all. And then I got in the ship.
Yeah, in that ship
I was flying upside down and in circles.
And it reminds me of like kind of Iron Man, how you're doing that ship, because like you think about Iron Man holding his balance, with the ship, how Iron Man, like in the movie, and just how you watch him hold his balance with his hands and stuff. You're trying to balance the ship with your hand and like keep it right as you go up in the air and things like that. How you take off.
But it's just one hand.
Yeah, that's true. But we got to do the throttle at the same time and like not spin out and like kind of like.
Yeah. I think the thing about it is I think I'd be okay. And even it was weird because I didn't like when I was like taking off and I was kind of getting crazy. When I got up, upside down, I was not sick.
Oh, really?
I felt fine. It's only when I got close to the ground and then I did like this weird turn motion and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What made me sick is I spun out in the air getting out and I was like upside down and all disoriented and things like that. That's what happened to me when I played it first.
It just got me a little nauseous. And then after that, we went into Skyrim too.
And something glitched.
And I turned my hand right and it went left. And I was like, whoa.
Okay,
like,
let's turn this
weird.
off.
Yeah, I just need to like wait on it. But it was cool because we had last time I did VR with you was 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, when I first got it.
I mean, it was we were living in Austin still or no?
No, you were back in Georgia. We were both back in Georgia.
Yeah, we were both back, and you just came over just to visit or something.
Yeah, you guys were getting close to leaving or something. I brought my VR over. I don't know.
Either way,
or maybe it was after you just moved. You came back to visit, and then we played.
Just like a quick visit, yeah.
Yeah.
But so I mean, it was close to 3 years ago though.
Yeah.
And I really liked it, but I just had to it was crazy. Like people came over to see me and my wife, and there was just too much.
Get a whole lot of time.
We just didn't get enough time with it. I wish we could have just sat down with it. And I was like, oh. And then I put the headset in, and first thing I was like, this is amazing. I'm buying one, or I want to get a form of one. Maybe not in the PS version, but I really did enjoy it, but it's just you got to be careful.
You got to be real careful.
You got to be
not
careful.
Wig yourself out.
Yeah, I think too is like they say, like anything else, like if you've not been on a ship that much and you get on a ship, you might get a little woozy, but after you get your sea legs or get your VR
get
legs
it going. Yeah, because I got really sick at first, and then I played again, and I was traveling the different worlds and stuff, and that was really cool. You're going through space and the asteroid field and things like that. You just got to be careful taking off and kind of just get the rhythm of having a nice takeoff, and then landing and things like that. So.
Yeah, but it was we definitely played that. So we're gonna have to play it tomorrow.
We'll play some more, and I want you to play that game Farpoint, which is like a crazy space shooter.
Dude, I can shoot some people. I was playing No Man's Sky and
scary spiders flying at your face.
And I was killing some wildlife to harvest their meat.
Didn't even need
I'm a hunter, and I didn't need to, but I was killing them. And then the enemies got mad and they killed me.
The jurisdiction people came and found you. But
what is this, Hunger Games?
I know, seriously, it's like what is going on right now? But No Man's Sky is one of those that I haven't had a whole lot of time to really dive into, but it's really fun in VR. And it'd be hard for me to go back to playing it console version because VR is so fun. You
know what I want though, especially with the VR thing too, is I wish my left hand, I could just still joystick move and then still kind of turn. I didn't have to turn my head. I could still turn my head, but I could at least move around with it. And then how with a computer, your right hand's you can look up and down or whatever, and I can still do that, but your body moves with your ASDW key. And I had a joystick, and then my other hand just had buttons on it where I could use my hands. I think that would be the best of both worlds, because I didn't like how
the throttle and the joystick.
Well, not even just that. Just walking around, you had to hold a button.
Yeah.
I wish I could just push a joystick like a.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's what's really cool about the PS Aim playing Farpoint is you have a joystick that you're walking around with, and it's really cool. And you're aiming at the same time, but you're maneuvering. And
you do have a joystick?
Yeah.
See, that makes so much more sense to me.
Yeah, and it's set up really well too, how your hands interact with the joystick and stuff. It's works perfectly. It's fun. It's really fun. So we'll play that next.
Cool.
But yeah, as far as VR, it's good. But like I said, with No Man's Sky, I don't think I could go back to playing it console. I just think it would just be lackluster for me now that I've played it in that mode.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I want to see, after seeing the PS, which is, how many years old now?
Yeah, a lot.
5 years old.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, after seeing that VR experience, and they just came up with the most expensive Valve one that's by far the highest quality. I would, and it's they made them
things like that,
better frame rates, crazy 4K over 4K resolutions in the headset, lighter stuff like that, built-in
really
headphones. I would like to see what that one is like versus, because I thought it's not bad at all, but also you kind of wonder what the top of the premium is these days because it is so old, because when they do the PS5, hopefully they'll do another version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because it can just, the PS5 will be so much more powerful. It should support something.
And like we talked about, I think this was just kind of a test run for Sony, and I think they're going to come out with something real sweet with the next console.
Yeah,
I can see that for sure, and like a nice bundle too. I'd definitely get it. So anyway, and then we went on to play some Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. We talked about this in some podcast episodes ago when it was first coming out, when we did our Power Rangers game. And obviously, I'm a big fan.
And you were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds cool because it was number one. Because I'm 100% going to get this game just so we can play it. Or if if you ever hit me up like, hey, let's play it, I'll buy it. It's like $20.
Yeah.
Because I do like fighting games. Mm-hmm. This is like a very much Injustice, like Mortal Kombat style, just good, solid fighting game. It was fluid. It kind of it was diverse. Like
balanced.
There's good characters. There's 3. It's like 3-on-3, which is I like a lot too.
Yeah,
cool. It was fun. The graphics were really good,
visually good. Yeah, especially for like more of an independent developer and things like that.
Dude, Unity because that's
Unity is a good platform to develop in, but like Inway is who developed the game.
Yeah,
and they're like a more of a this is their first venture into console. Yeah. Basically.
Man, they did a good job.
Yeah,
like it looks really good. It's a very, very nice looking game, and they had good like backgrounds. I liked it,
and it's cool because this game, they just this last week announced their second season pass, and so they're like, and the game came out in April, and they've added 9 characters since now.
Nice,
which is really cool. So it's a live game. They're doing it, and like when this news dropped this week, I was like totally like, what, like already? Because Lord Zed just came out a few weeks ago, and and that was the last of the first season pass. So I'm like, oh, they're gonna ride on this one probably till January, and then release the new characters, and boom, they dropped them and 4 new characters and stuff like that. So it's a live game, and I like I was telling you earlier, I'm excited for this to be like the big roster, like, and that's what Inway did with their mobile game is they just added, and they have like 50 characters in that roster. Yeah, it's kind of a pay to win game and tough to play with a card system and things like that. But because it's like a rock, paper, scissors, and people can just wait till you attack and just spam you. But this is a fighting game, and they're building it the same way they did that game, and it's good. So
yeah, I had a really good time playing it. Like we played probably.
We played a lot of rounds, and I wasn't like bored of it, but I was like, if we play this a few more times, I'm gonna get bored of it. So let's do something else.
Yeah, and you've played a lot more than me. Yeah. To me, I was like, oh man, like because we were pretty going back and forth.
We were matched. Yeah,
pretty matched. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I want to be able to get so good where you can't
Red
beat
Ranger,
me anymore. Yeah. So
I didn't lose with the Red Ranger.
No, you didn't, dude. Like literally twice, I had you down to no lie 2 health. Like if I hit you one time and you beat me, I could tell that you're good with Red Ranger. It's a good game. If anyone is looking for a fighting game,
versatile characters too. Like you played as the Ranger Slayer a lot, which is the Pink Ranger turned evil, and she has like a
Ranger Slayer.
I know,
too.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, but she has like a bow set, like like a lot of ranged attacks and things like that.
But she was good. Like I did
she
that.
Could drop like a bomb.
Yeah,
in the
I
air.
started doing that. Like she was my Red Ranger eventually because I started doing that thing where I would drop the bombs, I'd jump over you and push you into them and do a combo.
Yeah, it's cool, and the production value is really good because the characters actually like make noises and talk in the game, and that's where you don't get a whole lot of extra from a lot of fighting games like that. But like. It's kind of like the show when they hit him, like sparks fly and things like that. That's an effect they added to the game, and just they're talking as they're playing. Like Lord Zed's like, "Prepare the Earth for my arrival" or something like that, and he's like really scary and things.
That's legit, yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I was just reading here that a lot of the like character voiceovers were original, or they had like some instead of just paying a voice actor that could
they got the real people.
Yeah, they got the real people,
which is really sweet.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool that they kind of bring that nostalgia.
It's going to be on Switch too. I know you told me about, so that might be something I might just be able to.
Yeah,
and it's cross-platform play.
Yeah, so it's funny because PlayStation won't open. That's the same problem with what's that game everybody plays, the shooter game. Can't think of it right now.
PUBG.
No, that game that's on all platforms.
Fortnite.
Free to play. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. But anyway, it's the same. PlayStation doesn't crossplay, but Switch, PC, Nintendo, or Switch, PC, and Xbox all cross-play, which is cool.
Cool.
So, yeah, they just released it this week on PC too, if you're interested in that.
Oh, nice.
But I have it on Switch as well, so we could definitely play on Switch online.
Yeah, speaking of battle arena games, though, have you ever played the Apex Legends?
Mm-mm.
That's a game that I've actually played a lot since last time we did a podcast. It's a Fortnite-esque type game. It's a battle arena where like 50 players drop in, and then you have to, you run around and try to find like items or different like whoa.
Yeah, sorry, ring doorbell.
There's a ring doorbell going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it's very similar to Fortnite, just not like there's no building, and that's what the thing, like to be good at Fortnite, you have to build.
Yeah.
Like really, really good. But it's saying so you drop down with your team, and it's normally a squad, so it's always 3 people. So you always have like a party.
Buddy. Yeah.
So me, Parker, and Bond. We
cool.
play together.
Nice.
It's actually really fun. You get your attachments for your weapons, and you upgrade them. They do more damage and stuff, and you gotta work as a squad. So
cool.
It's been really fun that game. And then I've been playing WoW again.
Yeah.
Very
WoW Classic.
I've actually not just WoW Classic, but WoW.
Playing,
yeah, we got back into because the expansions coming to a head with the story.
Yeah.
I'm very into the story of
yeah.
like WoW because. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm very into the story with WoW just because of like the lore and how they're going to progress it from like the books. Like I've read the books.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's been pretty freaking crazy. And they just came out with, I'm pretty sure this last patch concluded the war campaign in the story. And then they have one more, and then like one in-raid boss because BlizzCon's in November. And then they'll announce the new expansion, and then obviously just say like what's going to happen until then. There's one last raid or whatever. Cool. So it's that game is still thriving. I wish you had a little bit more time to play with me, because even if you played not the like classic or even if you play a new one, like you don't have to, you could play it. We could play it for like 3 hours a week, and you would just absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about getting into the classic again and just catching up with you and then playing some, but just haven't had time. So.
I mean, you do have 2 small children.
Very needy child. You've seen my oldest. He's pretty all over the place.
Yeah, I know, man.
He's just got that attention thing, like with the new baby and stuff.
Yeah, you got a newborn. You got a wife who needs you. So I totally understand. But eventually, you should try to check that out if you have like a weekend or.
Yeah, I will at some point.
But, we got to be adults and stuff. Like, we can't just sit around and play video games all the time, even though that's the dream.
I know. Yeah, so other than that, like, I haven't really been playing much. Yeah, I mean...
we played some Pokemon Go today.
Played some Pokemon Go. I got you back into the Pokemon Go. I play all the time, like, on my walk to work and things like that. So.
See, the problem with me is I have that, like, all or nothing, like, semi-addictive personality where like I'm like, oh, Pokemon Go, let's catch 1,000 Pokemon today, and like literally like as soon as I started playing that game, you're like, hello, are you there? I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm just throwing Pokeballs left and right.
I know.
What am I the embodiment of Ash Ketchum?
yeah, we were kind of driving around showing you.
You become a Pokemon Go sweaty.
Showing you that town today, and you're just like, yeah. And that's the thing about this town. It's a small town, but there's a lot of Pokestops in a lot of places. Yeah, so it's fun.
There's good times. I do like the game. There's just so many new Pokemon that I don't know, and I haven't been connected to because I didn't play Sun and Moon.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even like the Black 2, I think.
I think that's where this newest crop is from. I don't know, but I'm just catching them to get them. So I'm missing out of the original. Games. Out of the original 150, I'm missing Mewtwo, Farfetch'd, and Genghis Khan.
Dude, I was so mad because I got a Mewtwo EX raid card, and I couldn't go because I had like another arrangement. But they're like, yeah, you've defeated this raid. Here's your EX Mewtwo card. Be there at 2:00, and then because everyone shows up at the same time. There's a big Pokemon Go community in Austin.
Yeah, of course. Bigger cities.
Yeah, and like I was like wanting to go, and she was like, "Oh, we have plans that day. We have to go to someone's pool party." I was like, "Screw their pool party! I got like, Mewtwo."
Wait, I do?
Don't you remember when I was 6 years old? My mom took me the first Mewtwo movie, and the dude was riding the Gyarados. That's me. I gotta catch him.
Don't hate. Yeah, no, that's
look at me like I'm just a complete freak.
I'm just like, send me those gifts. I need those gifts because you get the stones and the gifts to help you. Evolve some of these Pokemon. So.
Dude, I have so many stones. I don't need any more.
Oh, I need gifts. I've used my stones.
Oh, no. What a stoner. This guy's just tripping on raw, dude. Do I need to call someone and be like, hey, this guy's really concerned about how much rocks he gets in the mail. Like, some of them are clear, some of them are black. Like, I don't know. I'm a little concerned about my friend. He says that some of them, change the way that he, views things.
That's hilarious. Okay, so anyway, got you back into Pokemon Go. Cool. I have been also, I downloaded the other day Mario Kart Tour for iPhone came out. Or for just any device, I guess. And it's fun.
There's only one device.
Yeah.
The
exactly.
iPhone 11 Pro Max.
iOS Pro. Yeah,
Big,
we both
chunky.
got our iOS Max Pros. But yeah, that game's fun. It's cool. It's a little bit pay to play, but you can still compete just regular too.
Bro, sometimes life is pay to play.
Yeah, I know, but it's pretty fun, and the visually it's really good. So it's something to check out.
Nice.
Very nice.
I think the last thing we had was just talking about PlayStation State of Play. We're both PlayStation users. We don't really, I don't really mess with Xbox or anything.
Yeah.
But they had their little conference. The only thing to note, we talked about this a little bit before we started, was The Last of Us 2. That was the biggest announcement.
Yeah.
And you watched other people play in like a group play Last of Us. I played through, probably like 75% of that game. Like, I was through fall. I think it's fall and winter, and then I was pretty much done. But it's honestly a very great game. Like, that game is fantastic. It scared me.
Yeah, I might pick it up on PS Plus this month.
Yeah, you should.
Because it's free. That and MLB 19, that's what they announced.
Like, I just played it in the dark and was really... The problem is, dude, they're like fast zombies. Like, I don't like the fast ones. And they can hear stuff and smell. Yeah. Like, I don't like it.
It kind of reminds me of the first Uncharted game when you're like in this abandoned hospital.
Very, very actually, that's extremely same style of gameplay in a lot of ways, actually.
Yeah, and you're in this abandoned hospital in the dark, and you only have like a light, and it's just like things jump out at you like that. So.
I think it's a good game. The graphics, the cutscenes, the
it's
story.
Like a movie.
It's a movie.
And what's cool about Last of Us Part 2, they're putting a mode in this game that's so easy that you can basically just watch it like a movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's basically like don't want to basically just don't want to know the story. Easy, super easy gameplay. Yeah. I forgot about that.
So they're putting that in there if you're just really wanting to watch it as a movie. Like I don't know how many hours it's going to be or anything, but hopefully it doesn't kind of disappoint like Kingdom Hearts did for us a little bit after years of waiting for something. So.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
but I'm looking forward to it. Even though I may not even play it, I'll just even if I watch a lot. I do these things where I'll just watch people do walkthroughs, or they'll be playing on Twitch. It definitely be a good game if you don't want to just sit down and play it yourself. Just watch a Twitch streamer or see a YouTube video and see the plot line. Like it's a pretty fantastic game that they put a lot of work into. And then the other thing was Civ 6. I don't play Civilization. Have you ever played it?
I've played like some of the old games.
Yeah. I think I played Civilization like 1 or 2, but it's been a year since I don't even remember. Like I know that I was kind of into it like back in the day, but I don't think I even understood what I was doing when I was younger.
Yeah, they talked about a Death Stranding limited edition PS4 Pro, but let's be honest. You're this far into the PS run, why would you buy a PS4 Pro right now and not just wait for 5?
I think they even said 100% 2020 there will be like winter 2020 there will be a PS5. Why would you buy a PS4 at this point? I mean, it's time. The difference between the graphical, PS4 and Xbox One have both held up really well, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the One X, which is 4 times, or 5 times the speed of the PS4, but still, they've held up pretty well. But at the same time, it's if you take that versus my computer, it's wow. Normally, the run of consoles is X number of years, and I think we've doubled it at this point of what a normal cycle is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
it's time for a new one.
It's pretty deep in there, and they extended it with the Pro, adding more to the base console.
Yeah.
And it really did make a difference because I had both of them.
Did it?
In performance and things like that, and but I'm definitely ready for.
Did you ever see the Xbox One X graphics and the capabilities?
Was it a lot better?
It was insane. Yeah, it really is insane. And the funniest thing is the Xbox One X was basically it's weird. They had the Xbox One S, which is like a faster version with the whatever, kind of like the PS4 Pro to compete with it, and the Pro was a little bit more fast or a little bit better than the S.
Yeah.
And they did an Xbox One X, which is definitely far superior.
Yeah.
But then they're still doing, like, when PS5 comes out, they're going to do the most powerful gaming. They're going to do their next Xbox, like, completely revamped, not just the One X type deal. So it's really strange. I think they're definitely trying to find their footing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, PlayStation definitely needs to, like,
do something.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. The cool thing about Nintendo is they don't position themselves as a hardware company.
No.
They're all about the games, all about the
gameplay,
the appealing to all ages and kids especially, and the experience and whole thing. And they don't have to do that. You know, they can make a great game for their platform that's years behind everybody else. So
yeah, it's cool. They're very much so about art style and fun. Like, is this game fun?
And they've become with the handheld ability.
Yeah, can I take it with me?
Yeah.
Can I appeal to people who don't really play games necessarily and have fun? Like, my wife wants to play Switch. She's like, let's play Mario Party. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. Wii U is it was so fun. I love the Wii U console, and it was really good and everything. And the little screen thing, that was cool. You could walk around the house with it, but they really upped their game when they came out the Switch, because it's better graphics and better performance and things like that in a handheld device you can take anywhere you want.
Yeah, it's actually small enough, and
yeah,
the Wii U was really like the Switch, like, prequel almost.
Yeah.
It kind of wasn't its own
standalone.
Yeah, kind of. I bought it, and I definitely used it. Like, I liked the Wii U. Even most people didn't really love one.
Yeah, I liked mine. I mean,
did too.
As far as the Mario games and Super Smash and that kind of the Kirby, those kind of games, just the typical. I probably wouldn't play Madden on it or something like that.
No.
Like any
but
other.
You don't want to.
Mm-mm.
Like, you want to play.
If I'm gonna pick up Nintendo, I want to play Mario. I want to play Super Smash. I want to play Mario Kart. Diddy Kong Racing, or not Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, all that kind of stuff. So,
I think Nintendo has done it right, because they're making so much freaking they're doing so much money versus because basically have Xbox or Sony and Microsoft fighting each other constantly.
Yeah.
And Sony's won big time this time, but Xbox won super big last time.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo's over here like, hey,
and
we're not going to try to fight you. We're just going to do everything that you're not doing and do it, like, awesome.
Yeah, and what they did is they took their two struggling consoles, put them into one, and now they're the top seller in the market.
But the craziest thing is the DS.
They made it reasonable.
The DS, Nintendo DS was like the most selling, like, console in the past 10 years, by far.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was struggling though. Their numbers coming up. They were kind of just like
at the end of the cycle.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
They were kind of plateauing, and they were like, and Wii U obviously wasn't doing great at all. So they were just like, let's put this together in a handheld console and make it handheld/console, and boom, there we go. And get more with the times with the USB-C and making it more just a better design.
I mean, the
product.
DS, like the 3DS and the DS, they were not failures.
No, they're not. I wouldn't say that.
Like,
but
they were making, in comparison to, like, even Sony and Microsoft, they were making bank money. They were just at the end of the cycle of the 3DS. So it was good that they did it at the time that they did. But, like, I think the 3DS versus, like, the Wii U, like, sold, like, 10 times more.
Yeah.
Like, it was some ridiculous. Like, people, because it was pretty much the only handheld console that people were buying. No one's buying the PS Vita.
Yeah.
Like, that thing tanked.
Yeah.
Even though it was technically a superior device.
Only thing I like PS Vita for, it was really stable when you were doing remote play from your PlayStation.
Yeah.
So it's basically like the Wii U had the handheld, for in-house kind of thing. It was like that.
Yeah, I'm not
for me.
But that's the funniest thing is that proves my point with Nintendo is they don't need, like, no one wanted PS Vita's graphics were insanely good.
Yeah.
It was basically like a in between a PS3 and PS4. Mm-hmm. But no one cared about that. They wanted something that's fun and that they can, this like to bum around when kids can play.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
All ages, it's fun. It's wholesome.
I think Nintendo knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of fronts. So they're not trying to necessarily compete with they have their space, they have their slice of the pie, and they're just taking it and strides.
I'm definitely stoked for the new Pokemon games. That's definitely top of my list.
First 3D Pokemon,
especially
game,
like
3D.
Now at
Open
the end
world,
of the year.
I mean,
yeah, there's no other games really coming out this year that's really piquing my interest besides that. So I'm excited to jump into that. So
yeah, I'm excited too. Like I didn't play like Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon, but I'm gonna play this especially. I mean, just for the sheer fact that it's pretty.
Yeah, and also on my Switch, I'm still playing Final Fantasy VIII, so still working on that one. I kind of slowed down on it a little bit these last couple of weeks, but I'll play it at night and chill with it. It's fun. It's just fun nostalgia.
It's good stuff. I think that they're doing it right. I like it.
Cool, man. Well, I think this has been a pretty good episode. It's nice to be live in studio. We might try to whip one more out live in studio before the end of this thing, but yeah. So anyway, I think we're good for today.
Let's toast our Zevias and call it a night,
dude. For sure. Yeah, that we were talking about earlier. This would be like probably a little bit more fun with some drinks, but you're on a cleanse right now, and I'm trying not to hit it up as well. So.
Like it, yep.
Yeah. Drinking some Zevia,
some
zero
calorie, naturally flavored cola. Man, we're so fun.
Delicious. That's what we keep here
we're
at the
so
office.
Adults.
Trying not to get fat on drinking regular cola here at the studio. So
yeah, man. But Studio Suite, Texas.
Boom.
Hey,
look us up.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I took some really nice photos. I'm gonna take the drone out and my DSLR camera to take some photos probably tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah, we're gonna try to hit a sunset up. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Love the studio. Studio's super nice. Like, you guys know how to do it around here for sure. It's definitely blows anything that I do in my house out of the water.
Yeah, it's good. It's good times. It's nice to have the resources to do it. So just appreciative for that. So
yeah.
Cool.
So if you just want to like shout out your address, so like everyone can come steal all your gear.
No, I'm good. Yeah, you probably find us pretty easily, and but just because Weston dropped.
Dude, this
the name
thing is
of
a
the town.
fortress. Like, just if anyone ever found like, hey, I'm gonna come. Like, I mean, number one, you really don't have that much like stuff in here. You just have a couple computers, but it's like if anyone ever tried to come in here, like they would get tanked. Like, there's one in, one out. The police department's like right there. You got 50 cameras around here.
Yeah, we know if you walked by the ring hit a while ago. In the background, it was like somebody just walking through the parking lot.
You're just like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, yeah, you there in white.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, the music is currently playing out, so we're gonna call it a day here.
Later.
Peace. If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.